My younger self, what's your story?
To my younger self, what's your story?
To my younger self.
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 To my younger self, what's your story? To my younger self, what's your story?
Well, hello and good morning. Good morning. There's something going on with our cameras today. I don't know what it is, but you know what? We're not gonna bother with it. We're just gonna go. Go, 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 go. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. My name is Zoe Baraka, and of course, the show is To My Younger Self, where we tell stories that we experienced or went through in the past, and it's gonna propel us into the future. We are a bunch of Africans who just like to tell stories and hear stories. And so that is what To My Younger Self is all about. Listen, you are very, very welcome. Wow, Ralia, you are the very first one today on the show. You're welcome. You're about to experience something incredible. So do not leave, okay? And if your father is there, can you just put a tablet or something in front of him, because we want to honor him. Because today, just the past couple of days, we celebrated Father's Day. And there was a lot of ruckus about if fathers needed to be celebrated. There was a fake picture going around with women holding placards saying that there should not be a Father's Day. And it was a whole hullabaloo about it. And those who wanted to celebrate their fathers definitely did go ahead and celebrate their fathers. And I am one of those people that advocates that fathers must absolutely be celebrated, because all of my life I have been impacted by fathers. You know what I mean? I just have been one of the luckiest women on the planet. I have so many fathers. There's two I would like to take time to acknowledge today. And then we would go on to our roving stories with Nuerki and Naana. I have to just be very careful how I say it. Naana. Ralia, if you're watching, could you please do me a favor and give our To My Younger Self communications lead a heads up that we are live, so that she can be on. I know sometimes the times do confuse her just a little bit. I believe it was Umberto Eco. He's an author of the Foucault's Pendulum, who says that I believe that what we become depends on what our fathers teach us at odd moments when they aren't trying to teach us. We're formed by little scrapes or scraps of wisdom. And then the other thing that Marcus Zuzak, if you've read the book Thief, he said that sometimes I think my papa is an accordion. When he looks at me and smiles and breathes, I hear notes. My own progenitor, my own father, Mr. Galileo Ibrahim Akom, I know you're watching today. I want to honor you. You have taught me so many things in the odd, mundane moments of life, without necessarily even trying to teach me. You've always taught me. I think you're the first person who taught me the importance of human capital as opposed to material wealth. For you, humanity is your wealth. Humanity is your capital. You have always traded and wheeled in human capital because you believe in humans and in humanity. You taught me what honor is and how to honor people. And so every time, people would come around me and they would say, Zoe or Baraka, how do you do this, and how are you friends with that person? And I would always go back and I would say, that was something my father taught me. And he taught it to me even when he wasn't trying to teach me. It's the little thing of, hey, buy a gift, go and say good afternoon to that person. Buy a gift, go and say good day to that person. When I thought, oh my God, why are you bothering me so much? Call that person and say thank you to them. That was you, Dad, and I want to say thank you. The second person I want to acknowledge, just by way of saying Happy Father's Day on the show, because during Mother's Day, we dedicated a whole show to mothers. So I'm going to try to make this very, very quick and put it in like 5 minutes, which is really not fair, but let's do it anyway. Professor, or should I say Dr. Tony Howell, this man has just come alongside me and become father to me in a strange land. For those of you who know me very well, you know I've been traveling in I've been in surgeon for a very long time. It feels like this is a never-ending travel state. But God has brought a father who, just like my biological father, to me in a strange land. He's done everything that my biological father will do. It blows my mind. In fact, anyone who hears his story and my story, they always go, oh my God, how is this possible? Dr. Tony Howell, I call you Dad. I know you watch. Today, I want to take time and honor you too and let the whole world know just how much I appreciate you and how much I love you. Every time I talk about you, I have tears in my eyes out of just extreme gratefulness. You are truly a father, not only to me, but to many. In fact, this man has over 400 children. I just happen to be the topmost and the one who bothers him the most. I don't care where he is, what he's doing. I just call him and call him until he picks up. And then he goes, yes. I love you dearly. I am, again, one of the luckiest ones. So listen, if you want to honor a father, put it in the comment section. Just say Happy Father's, it's belated, but still say it to your father. If you have a tiny story you want to share about your father, please, please, please put it in the comment section. Daddy, Mr. Galileo Ibrahim Akom, for me, is the epitome of when a man is a man, a true man. He's the reason why I have chosen not to compromise on anything when it comes to choosing a life partner. Oh my God, I could tell you stories for days. And he's the reason why my sisters have the best husbands in the world, in my opinion. He is an incredible man. I honor you. I honor you. I honor you. I love you so dearly. All right, let's jump onto it. Now you are here with me onto my younger self. I'm trying to stay very, very unemotional, but I can't. You can see tears are coming out, but it's all good. Salahadeen, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on To My Younger Self. I know you're always saying that. Listen, I'm greeting you guys from the bottom of Africa. Chad, oh my God, it's 8 minutes in. Well, we were honoring fathers, so it's okay. It's okay. Let's do some greetings, and then we'll bring Nuerki on so she can introduce the storyteller today, right? Greetings to you. If you are watching us and you speak Hausa, Barka da zuwa to you. Sanunku da zuwa, yaya de kakwana lafiya. It is wonderful to see you. I just greeted you in Hausa. Ya ken tuma tuma fuduwela. It is wonderful to see you. I just greeted you in my father tongue. Ansuma to you if you speak Wale or Dabani. Ndina to you. Wezo. Leke, it is wonderful to see you. Are you watching us from anywhere in the Volta region of Ghana? Or if you just speak Eben, you're anywhere in the world, in the diaspora, we greet you. Thank you for joining us. I'm rushing. So stay with me, okay? At to say Akwa to then, it is wonderful to see you. I just greeted you in Akan. Sawubonani to you. If you speak Zulu, how are you doing? South Africa, it is wonderful to see you. Ibella to you, Ibiokebari. If you speak Moshi, I greet you. Te Oyo Tang, it is wonderful to see you. Ojeko to you, do you speak Ga? I greet you. Latle to you. Yes, Salahadeen Bacher, I am greeting you now in your native tongue. How are you? Intiom Afe to you, it is wonderful to see you. I just spoke to you in Chadian Arabic. That's all I can speak, but it's all good. Salam alaikum to you if you speak Arabic itself. Ekaro to you, Ekabo to you if you speak Yoruba. We thank you for joining us. Nagadef to you if you speak Wolof. Jambo habari gani, Iyaure to you, I've just greeted you in Swahili. Kotong to you, Amuhalang to you, do you speak Sesotho? It is wonderful, wonderful to see you. Kotoli'i to you if you speak Fofoldi. Akei to you, to our Ayiti Sheri people, we greet you, Bom dia if you speak Portuguese. Bonjour, bonjour, no buenos dias, maraba, maraba. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is wonderful to see you. All righty, listen, let's jump in. Nuerki, you are very welcome to the show. I was rambling today. I did not know that I was going to do the Father's Day thing. I think the Holy Spirit just came on me. So,
yeah, you were really racing through the greeting.
Yes, because I was like, where did the Father's thing come from? I should have planned it. I didn't, and I
think it was fantastic. I loved it, and I mean, you only get so many opportunities to wish them publicly.
Yes.
This was just.
You're welcome to the show, my dear.
Thank you.
Our roving storytelling curator. That is Nuerki. She is an amazing. I call her the grand matriarch, connoisseur. Everything Ghana and everything West Africa, and very, very soon, everything Africa. Listen, wherever you are in the world, if you really want to see the real Ghana, this is the woman to call, okay? We're going to put her details. Yes, we're going to put her details right up here. She knows every single space in Ghana. Like, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Yes, so please say hello to her. But also, I want you to, tell your friends about her. Tell all the people who want to see Ghana about her. And just reach out. All of her details are right there in the crawling ticker. And just say, hey, grand matriarch and connoisseur of everything Ghana. I want to visit Ghana. How do I do it? What do we need? And you will never regret it. You would always want to go back to Ghana after she has actually taken you around to the places you want to see. Nuerki, I'm going to throw it over to you so that you introduce our storyteller to us today whilst we kind of sit back and listen to the stories we're about to hear.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm particularly excited about today's storyteller because, usually we have the mindset that it is very old people who have stories.
Yes.
Or you should have experience, like, or you should be a certain age to have stories worth hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But this lady is incredibly young. And her stories are the kind that people have to go through a whole lifetime to experience. And I was totally blown away by her. Her name is Naana.
Naana. Oh, God.
Yes, I actually had to rehearse that over and over. Her name is Naana and she's more popularly known as Naana The Violinist. She's a product of Methodist Girls High School and the University of Ghana, Legon. She graduated with a BA in psychology. Now, what makes her remarkable is she's a purely self-taught violinist.
That part.
She attended University of YouTube to learn how to play the violin. And currently, she's a professional violinist, a violin tutor, and a voiceover artist.
Wow.
I'm sure once we hear her story, we'll get to know a lot more about her. I don't say too much because most of what there is about her is in the stories she'll share with us.
Yes.
But let's welcome Naana.
Okay, so you guys, we have to say it right. Is Naana, not Nana or Nana. And I think that Nuerki actually says it in the intro of the video. So we'll see you right back here in about 37 minutes or so. I think that's all that it takes. But get ready to be serenaded by some violins and some incredible, just stop talking, Zoe. Let's go. We'll see you in a few.
and welcome to another episode of Roving Stories onto my younger self. My name is Nuerki, as you know already, and today we have Naana. I have to take my time to say her name so I don't get it wrong. She's not Nana, she's not Naana, she's not Nana, she's Naana. So Naana is here with some incredible stories for us. So I'm just going to go straight into it, just give her the opportunity to share her wonderful stories with us. Today we are on our way to the Eiiiiiii Botanical Gardens, and Naana is my companion for the day. So she'll be sharing stories with us as we go along the way. Over to you, Naana.
Alright. What was I going to say? Oh, so yeah, we're starting now. Okay, alright. So my name is Naana, as she just said. A lot of people, some call me Naana, whichever is Naana. Okay, so I'm Dangbi, and I'm a violinist. A lot of people know me as Naana the Violinist. I've been playing the violin since 2013. So I've always loved music growing up. I would sit at the corridor of our house and then sing. I used to play the flute growing up. Yeah, so I would sing, play the flute, anything that has to do with music, you find me there. As to how I got to start playing the violin, I was a morning star somewhere 2004, 2005. Yes, and back then we had like extra curriculum activities on Wednesdays, and there was like the play club, girl guide, girl scouts, boy scouts, all of those clubs, and I didn't want to be a part of any of them. I felt like all of them were really boring. I mean,
oh, how?
Yes, I was in girl guide. I mean, I had joined each and every one of them, but
you're looking for something extra.
Yeah, girl guide, you go and we are fixing beats and we are learning songs and we are learning how to, it was all boring for me. I joined clay, everything was boring. So, and when we're morning star, you can't hang out on Wednesday without belonging to a club. You have to be in a club, and all the clubs were boring. So I used to see the orchestra kids, like on Wednesdays, you see them with their bags, and I thought, oh, this is really cool, so let me just go and join them. And so I went to join the orchestra, not because I wanted to be a part of it, but I just had to be in a club. So I joined them, and unfortunately for us, we didn't really have enough. We had enough, but the instruments weren't being handled properly. So most of them were damaged. So you would have so many instruments, but they are not enough to work with. So I didn't really get one of my own to work with until 2006. So really learning anything. It was just one or two people who would get their hands on an instrument before the time is up. So in 2006, my parents, I'm not from a rich home, so my dad lost his job, but he was trying to help out with fees, but we couldn't keep up. So in 2006, my dad was like, no, I can't do this anymore, so we'd have to take you to a less expensive school. So I left Morning Star, and then I went to a school somewhere in my neighborhood called Joanna's Education Center. So I found myself there. I remember back then, I didn't want anybody at home. You know, this growing up in an African home, you don't really want people to find out what you're up to. So I didn't want people to know I had left Morning Star, because I had been there my whole life. So I still go to the new school wearing the old school uniform.
Wait, you wore Morning Star uniform to another school?
Yes.
Were they the same color?
No, it wasn't the same color. They're totally different uniforms. But I used the excuse that my uniform wasn't ready.
Oh, wow.
And so the school kind of allowed it for a couple of weeks until the new uniform, because we didn't really have that particular, that school's uniform around. So they'll have to sew it, and then you have to request, and then it will be brought to you. So I didn't have mine at the time. So I was
for you, it was more of not wanting people to
know that it wasn't even about me.
The change in status.
It was my parents.
If I can say that.
Exactly. My parents didn't want anybody to know I had left Morning Star. Yeah. So I was going to my new school in the old school's uniform, and my mom, I grew up with a very strict mom. So we had, new school, new rules. Okay. So what we're doing in Morning Star wasn't the same we're doing here.
Different culture.
So I get there, and I remember at the time my mom gave me 80 pesos. Yes, I remember 80 pesos. But then I think they had changed the new
just
CD.
switched
Yes, it was 80 pesos. It was new. And I got there, and my first day in school, I spent this money. I bought snacks, and then I was told there was something called feeding fee. And so we have to pay feeding fee. I said, hey, and I've spent my money. So my cousin was in the same school with me. So she gave me some of her money, and then I paid for the feeding fee. So I went home and I informed my mom that, mommy, in this school we are supposed to pay feeding fee. I think it was 70 pesos at the time.
Okay.
And then she's like, is it compulsory? And I said, yes, it's compulsory. And she said, but, and mind you, we're from a region. My mom said, I can't be giving you 70 pesos for feeding fee every day. You can take your own, every day. You can take your own food to school. And it wasn't allowed. Compulsory. You have to pay the money and you'll be fed in the school. So my mom decided, my mom is very, if you knew her, she was very stubborn. She likes to do what everybody says you shouldn't do. She wants to try it for you to see what you can do to her. So she told me,
it's more like try me.
Yeah, I'll dare you and see what you can do. So I go to school and I don't have my feeding fee almost every day. And it wasn't, though my mom was stubborn, it wasn't deliberate. She really didn't have the money. But you can't tell us that it's compulsory for every child to pay this amount. What about those that don't have the money? That was the point my mom was trying to bring up. So I go to school every day and I don't have my 70 pesos. And it wasn't just me, other students who also come up with the same problem. We don't have money and they will let it slide. So there was this man that used to take the money. Coincidentally, his name was Mr. Money. So Mr. Money would come around class by class, collect the feeding fee. And I was the only girl amongst most of the guys that wouldn't pay were notorious guys who had the money but deliberately just didn't want to pay. So Mr. Money would come around, feeding fee, and I don't have my money. And at first it wasn't really much of a problem until he started he started applying force. So he would get a cane. If you don't have your money, he's going to cane you. Yes.
Really?
Yes. And anyone that knows me knew I wasn't good with canes back. I didn't like canes. Hey! So I'll go to school and this man has a cane ready to whip me. Where's my feeding fee? And it's not my fault. My parents didn't give me the money. So it became a thing where every morning, if I have to go to school, I have to cry. Because if I'm not given the money, I know definitely I'll be caned in school. So every morning when I'm going to school, there are times that people will meet me by the roadside crying because I didn't have money. And I recall back then, my dad had lost his job and then he got this job to be working in, I think it was a construction. He had to go there every day. So we live at Latebiokoshi. So my dad had to walk from Latebiokoshi to Labadi. That's where the place was. Yes. He would walk from Latebiokoshi to Labadi and he was paid 5 cedis a day.
Wow.
Yes. So he go and get the money and walk back home. And then he comes to share the money amongst us. So my brother would get like 1 cedi, I'll get 1 cedi, my mom would get the rest of the money to cook for the family. So we were always relying on that 5 cedis a day. But there were times my mom would be like, no, 3 cedis is not going to be enough to cook for the whole family. So you would take food to school and then feeding fee can go to her. So I always cry every morning to school and I always be caned all the time. So there was one time I told my mommy, look, Mom, I can't do this anymore because every time I go to school, I'm being beaten for something that is no fault of mine. My mom was like, don't worry, just go to school. I said, okay. So fortunately for me, that day I went to school and someone saw me by the roadside and gave me 2 cedis. And I went to school and I met this man came around for the money and I paid the feeding fee and he left. So after he left, I remember before then, I think the day before, so the day before that particular day, he came and then I burst into tears and I told him, it's not that I'm deliberately not paying this thing, but we don't have money. And this man was like, the whole class, look at this girl. She's trying to tell me that she can't afford 70 pesos feeding fee and everybody started laughing. And that's even what made me cry the more because it wasn't like I had the money and I didn't want to pay for it. So he caned me after humiliating me in front of the whole class. I took my canes, I went to cry and that was it. So the next day, that's when I had to cry to my mom that look, this thing I'm always paying for it. So and then someone gave me money and I paid. So after I paid, I was in the class innocently minding my business, and Mr. Money came back. So he moved to the next class and he came back. So he came to the class and then asked, who is Naana Obi? And I said, everybody pointed at me. I raised up my hand and he was like, it's you. Did you pay feeding fee today? I said yes. Did you pay feeding fee yesterday? I said no. So then the class was like, you have always been caning hair. You know, it was JHS. And you've always been caning hair. And he was like, okay, see me after class. So after school, that was after school. After school, I went to his class and he said, my mom called him. So he said the way my mom spoke to him, he wasn't happy about it at all. So he followed me home. And then my mom served him with malt.
Imagine.
She gave him a treat. I remember it was malt and digestive biscuit or something like that.
Water Guinness was a big deal back in the
then,
day.
yeah.
You visit someone and they give you Water Guinness.
So my mom served him and I wasn't there. So I don't know what conversation went on between them. But ever since that day, Mr. Money became my best friend in school. I had free food.
Wow.
From that particular day. The next day, anytime he came to class, he wouldn't take feeding fee from me. And he wouldn't beat me. And he stopped beating every child in the school.
Amazing.
Because of feeding fee. He stopped. Because I don't know what my mom told him, but he just stopped. So, interestingly, a lot of people to stop paying because they realized
now
Mr. Money wasn't giving anybody.
beaten
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they all stopped paying. And people started, I became popular because of that. Like, hey, whatever your mom did, I think we should talk to her. Yeah.
You needed a cake because
We should talk to her because of that. Yeah, I'm sure she would. And so it was one of those things back then. It really helped me a lot. Yeah.
That's I have no words, really. I mean, it's just, but I think this is something that really should be addressed.
Yeah.
Children getting caned for their parents' inability to meet certain needs or requirements. Because I know there were some schools where children get caned for coming to school late. But it's your parents who bring you to school.
Yeah. So
if you are late and you're caned the child, a child does not pay school fees, and then they get caned for it. It's quite disturbing, and I know several schools still go through. But this is really incredible that you brought about such a massive change in the school where you don't even know what it was you did. Exactly. Like your mom did pull some strings, because I'm sure it was more than the Water Guinness. There was something.
Yes,
something else.
I'm pretty sure she spoke to him about the fact that people are going through challenging times at home. Mm-hmm. In my case, both of my parents were not working. Okay, and if they are not working, imagine my dad had to walk from Latibia because he used to wake up at 4 a.m. just to get dressed. So I remember he had one shoe, and by the time you go to Labadi and back, his shoes are totally worn out, dirty. You can see that this is the shoes of a man that has trekked just to bring 5 cedis home. And then you don't know the story. And you want 70 pesos out of that 5 cedis every day. That's just unreasonable. Yes. So that was one of my moments growing up. And then I have another story still centered around my mom. I'm saying this because my mom passed away in 2016. Oh, sorry. And she brought about so much change in my life. So even with the violin I'm playing, she's the one that got the violin for me. And ever since she passed, this is what has been fetching me money. Yes, because I learned a few lessons from her. My mom was very forceful. Okay, growing up, she would train me. I remember even after my dad was doing all this going up and down, trekking and getting that 5 CD, I remember we used to collect newspapers back in the day, old newspapers from offices, and then we would go and sell it to these public toilets. And being somebody who attended a DB school, yes, I didn't want to be seen doing that. I mean, I was young and I didn't really understand the hustle. Okay, so I didn't want to be caught. My mom would tell me, follow me, carry these newspapers. And I remember my brother was very young by then, so she would carry him at her back, and then I would have to carry the newspapers on my head. She would also carry some, and then we would go to all these public toilets and we'll have to bargain with them a whole lot of newspapers, and they'll tell you they'll pay you 5 pesos for it, 20 pesos for it, and we have to sell. So imagine the number we had to carry just to get you sell everything and you have just one CD. Yeah, so the hustle was there. We used to hustle growing up. And she got me the violin when I was in, I think somewhere 2013. So after I completed senior high school, I was going to uni. I stayed home for about a year. So back then, I applied for KNUST, and then I was given religion as a course, and I didn't want to do religion, so I reapplied to Legon, and I was given psychology and some other courses. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So during that 1 year I stayed at home, I went to a film school. Okay, I did TV and radio presentation and acting and all that. All of this, my mom put me there, like, go do something at least. So I was in film school for 1 year, and I remember when I completed, we did 6 months. So when I graduated, the owner of the film school, he's even passed away, God rest his soul, Anthony, what's his name? I've even forgotten the man's name, but yeah, Rex Antoniana, yes, the director of Accra Film School, he's passed away. I remember my mom would call him, Mr. Rex, maybe no, my child, like, you need to put her somewhere, push her somewhere. Put her out there. I want the world to see her talent. Like, my mom was very forceful back then, but she was such a strict parent, so strict. I recall that there was this particular day, I was the kind of child that, we live on a story building. I was the kind of child that once I climb the stairs and get up there, you are not coming downstairs until you seek permission. Now, even the permission, when you seek it, you need to do like household chores, like 1 week, just to tell her that you want to
in advance.
Exactly. So the minute you stepped up, you're not going down. And I had so many of my friends, like, you see kids playing downstairs and you want to go and play with them, but mommy, no, stay upstairs, you're not going anywhere. And it was always like that. But my dad was the type that always gave me that freedom. So my dad would go to work, and then he would go along with me. So when I go with my dad to work, then we go to, that was before he lost his job, right? So we'll go to work, and then he'll tell my mom, so my mom knows I'm with him, and then I'll go and visit a friend. Then when my dad closes from work at 5, he'll call me, where are you? And I'll tell him, maybe I'm here. Then I'll meet him and say, circle, we'll both go home. So I leave with my mom, I leave with my dad in the morning and come home with him. So you not think I've gone anywhere. So I remember there was this particular day that I went out with my dad, and then I went to visit a friend. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it back on time before 5. So my dad had to, I think either he had to go somewhere, I don't recall what exactly happened, but I went to see a friend. This was a GHS mate, just in the neighborhood. So I remember I wore one of my mom's, my mom used to be very smallish like me, so her dresses would fit me. So I remember I wore one of her tops. I went to see this friend of mine, and on our way back, so he was escorting me back. On our way back, like my junction, we stood there, we were chatting for a while, and then we parted, we said goodbye, and we parted ways. And then I got home. I'm home, my mom is not home, and my mom, we were living with my aunt, and so my mom and my aunt were quite close, not really like my aunt, but my mom's best friend. So I get home and no one is there, and I'm like, where is everybody? My phone is with me, no one. So I called my dad. So no, I think it was my dad that called me and was like, where are you? And I said, I'm home. Your mom just called me. She said she saw you with a guy. And my mom was the type of person that the minute you are with a guy, you are doing something bad. That was her, typical African mother. The minute you are with a guy, you are doing something bad. She won't ask who is the guy, why are you with a guy? That's my mom's problem. So again, my dad says, your mom just called me that she saw you with a guy somewhere. And I'm like, me? So I actually forgot I was actually with someone. I'm like, me? Where? He said, no, mom. So then I remembered, so she actually saw me. I'm screwed. So now I start calling this guy, and the guy is not picking up. He's not picking up. And then I get there, I'm home, and then my mom comes home and she's like, where did you go to? I said, no, I went to see a friend. Honestly, it wasn't any bad thing. I went to see a friend. I saw you with her. So what actually happened was she saw us standing at the junction, and then I don't know whether she was in a taxi. I don't know how exactly the whole thing played out. But so when I parted ways with the guy, she followed the guy back home. Yes.
That's wild.
She followed the guy back home, and the guy's mom was home. And the mom used to see me. It's something I used to frequent the place. So she followed the guy back home and went to meet the guy's mother and was like, my daughter was here, and she gave the guy warning next time. I don't know how the whole thing played out, but from what I was told, like, she really caused the scene. Why did my daughter come here? Why are you following my daughter? I don't see around my daughter again. Blah blah blah. I'm like, what's all this? So I was banned. My phone was seized. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere, see anyone. No. And the guy's mom apparently said if she saw me there again, she's going to disgrace me. So like nobody. I said the guy lives in my neighborhood, like 2 streets away, but I never passed within that road until I completed senior high school. But what my mom did at the time really helped me, because even though it made me a bit I wasn't really the type of person that would go out a lot. Even till date, I'm more of an indoor person, but it really helped me in the sense that who knows the kind of things I would have been doing, because right now she's not there. There's nobody that takes care of me. Even after I completed uni, there was nobody that took care of me. But because of all these things she did for me, I knew that, okay, if there's no money at home, this is what I have to do. Okay, pick my violin, do something. So I got the violin in 2013. I started learning just as a hobby. Okay, so I learned how to play. I would go on YouTube. I'm self-taught, so I never had a tutor or anything. Yeah, so I would go on YouTube, pick the violin, try and do one step at a time. I was learning bit by bit until somewhere in 2018. So from 2013 to 2018, I was just doing everything as a hobby. And then I got a call that when Ebony passed, they needed somebody to play during the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards as a tribute to Ebony. They needed a female violinist. So I got a chance to play with Akose Japan, Adina, and some of the female celebrities at the time. And that was what gave me the spotlight. And since then, I've been playing this violin, going to events. And now I don't have a 9-to-5 job or anything, but I do this full time and it pays well. Yeah, so all these things, sometimes when our parents try to push us, I remember at the time I didn't like my mother one bit. I'm like, what kind of mother is this? Like every mom, you see some girls with their mom so close to them and all that, and then my mom was the type that even when you're in the kitchen with her cooking, she doesn't have patience for you even in the kitchen. I'm not saying it's a good thing that mothers should do that, but it was really bad.
She was just really strict all the time.
But she didn't know how to.
There was no soft side to her. All the time. And
she's doing it out of love, but she just doesn't know how to communicate that love. She just has to be strict on you. The other time she asked me to prepare Kobe. I remember I was like, I don't remember how old I was back then, and I didn't know, that kind of strictness where if your mom says, take this from here and put it here, and you change just a little bit of the instruction, you are in trouble.
Yeah.
That kind of. So I listen to everything she says and I do it exactly the way she says I should do it. So she asked me, go and prepare yam. My mom used to love ampesi, so she said, go and prepare yam and do ampesi. And then I want Kobe and honey and all those things. And I didn't know how to prepare Kobe because I didn't even like Kobe.
So my mom, for those who are not familiar, Kobe is salted fish, or fish that has been preserved with salt. So it's dried with salt. It's a very flavorful stew. Or you get a very flavorful stew when you use it.
Yeah, so she asked me to prepare this food and it was so dry and hard. Like you pick Kobe when it's not cooked, it's so dry and hard. My mom gave me, I remember the instructions perfectly. She said wash it and then put it on top of the yam for me. That's what I remember she said. So I also went to the kitchen, boiled the yam and everything, washed the Kobe and put it on top of the yam. Grind the pepper and then put it by the side of the yam and put the Kobe on top of it. And so I also did exactly that. I served my mother, and back then, so my name is Naana Owi, but everybody calls me Nana. If you are called Owi, if the minute I hear Owi, then I'm in trouble.
then that name comes out.
I was in my room and I hear, oh wait, I said, hey, what did I do? I hear them. My mom was like, come. Is this how I asked you to play the Kobe? I said, my mommy, you said I should do this. See, that day I ate raw Kobe. Raw, uncooked. She made me eat it.
Cook it for her.
This is how you prepare Kobe. She made me eat the Kobe that day. And my mom made me eat this raw Kobe. But it taught me a lot back then that after she passed, I had to go through a whole lot of things, taking care of my little brother, taking care of the family, and I realized how difficult life was. So I was like, okay, sometimes these parents, it's not that they don't love us, because I realized that she really did love me. It's just how to show that love. Maybe growing up, it also depends on how she was also brought up. Okay, so the person does love you, but how to show that love. And it taught me a very important lesson that nobody loves you better than your family does. No matter how bad your family is, if there's anything, your family, we might not really show it, but then your family loves you more than anything else in the world. So yeah, my mom was strict and all, but I think that not that parents should also be, you can be strict on your child, but there should be a balance, such that me growing up, for instance, because of how strict she was, I wouldn't, even if I have a problem, to go and tell her that, mommy, I have this problem, it was difficult because I'm scared there's going to be that. So you can be strict, but also be friends with your kids, such that whatever it is, they can always come back to you and then tell you about it. So I learned it the hard way, but then I decided that if I also have kids of my own someday, this is how I'm going to break them up, such that they won't go asking strangers questions when mommy is home or daddy is home, and daddy or mommy can teach them these things. So
I really have no words. I know I said this already earlier, but truly, I have no words. The story is, if you think like you're a self-taught violinist. I mean, I tried violin, I tried learning. I think I probably did like 3 months and then stopped because I went to music school also for about 7 years. So I played piano and I tried violin, but I didn't last very long. So it's just incredible that you taught yourself, and now that is like your main source of livelihood, and you're able to support your family with it. And I think your mom will be incredibly proud of you, wherever she is. And it's wonderful that you learned all these valuable lessons, even though you knew how challenging it was. It shaped you somehow. That's just incredible. So thank you so much for sharing it with us. Thank you.
Okay, so my last story, when things started picking up for me playing the violin, I decided to join an orchestra to get better and improve upon myself. So I joined for just 2 weeks. I was actually employed to work for just 2 weeks. I worked with them. I'm someone, whichever environment I find myself in, I try to be very friendly with everybody, but then I also put it in mind that I'm here for business, so I stay focused no matter what. So I worked for 2 weeks, and after I was done, I went back to my normal life doing my solo violin stuff. So when COVID hit, I had a friend that I was helping. I was like, I believe that if I have something, I should share. The same way we are in a space where there are events and stuff like that. So I realized that people were struggling, because myself, there was a time that I was really struggling with events. So I decided that I'll help other people as well. So there was this particular lady I helped. And after I did that, she said thank you, and then she kept hammering on the fact that, oh, Nana, you're such a nice person, you're such a kind person, but I had a different perception about you because of something I heard somewhere. I was like, and I don't do well taking negative news. When she said that, I was like, oh, it's not really necessary, it's fine. Then I went ahead, I think I met her another time, helped her again. She said the same thing. It went on 3-4 times. And then this time I was like, no, I need to hear what it is that these people are saying about me. And when this lady went ahead to say what it was, I don't know if it's even okay to say it. When she went ahead to say what it was, that she was told in a group, some people had a meeting and they mentioned that I have been sleeping around with everybody in the string community. I found it very, very upset and ridiculous. And during the time, I was very hurt. I was pissed. I was willing to go to whatever extent to get the culprit who said that, because if there's one thing about me, I don't joke with my work, and I don't like to, I respect myself a lot, and so there are certain things I don't involve in what I'm doing. So when I heard that, I was very, very hurt. I wanted to sue, I wanted to do whatever. I became very, very bitter. But then later on, I sat back, I found out whoever said it. I confronted the person denied it, but it's fine. I sat back, I thought about the whole thing, and then I decided that no, if you are out there and you're doing something that is great and people are not able to get to the level that you are getting to, then people start to form stories about you. People say a lot of bad things about you to try and break you. So I told myself, no, if this is what they are going to do to break me, then I'd rather do it more. I'd rather focus more. I'd rather try to go the extra mile to become a better person and become good at what I do, so that you can never do anything to break me. So I did that. I stood my ground. I cut off everything, and I just told myself that whatever you do, people will talk, whether good or bad, people will talk. So you just have to be yourself at the end of the day. And it really, really helped me. And I think that is what I would always tell my younger self. Just be you, do whatever you have to do, cut out all the negative energy and just focus on the positivity.
So thank you so much for sharing such powerful stories with us. And we at To My Younger Self are so proud of you, and we keep cheering you on. You know, you go on to higher heights, and we're just blown away by Naana the Violinist. And personally, I know every time I hear that you are performing somewhere, I'll just be like, yeah, I know her, and I know how far she's come, and I know the difficulties or the challenges you've gone through to get to where we are, or where you are. Why am I adding myself to it? But yes, I think a win for you is a win for us as well, for all of us. And this is a legit African story of how we make it through our challenges and we overcome. So thank you so much. And on behalf of To My Younger Self, I'd like to give you a big hug, because I'm sure everybody else wants to give you a hug. So guys, on behalf of all of you, I am giving Naana a hug.
Big hug.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We're so grateful.
Same here.
Thank you.
All right.
I am muted.
Yes.
Because I am so blown away, Nuerki. What an incredible story time. Wow. You know, I have so many questions.
Yes,
And
I know.
think-
I saw her in the chat. She's
Yes, Naana. That's true. I think you are in the chat. Welcome to the show, my dear. It is wonderful to see you. Listen, your storytelling is out of this world. But also, I got so triggered, and my sisters are here, and they would tell you, it looks like every African mother maybe goes to a specific school of training. Because that having to ask for permission is the same thing, except I was the opposite. I wouldn't ask for permission. I would actually go and do it. And then when I would come back, we would have a fight. It was a back and forth. We were jumping walls, and my brother was always stuck in the middle. Producer says, why were you whispering? You're muted.
because I didn't want to say it for everyone else to hear.
It came out anyway, so it's all good. Oh my God. You're muted. It's like, yeah, we're in the studio. But I had so many triggers, first, my condolences to you. I lost my mother too. And I have kooky stories like this. I give them kudos, mothers who did this, who were very assertive and knew exactly what to do for their children, and they went in no matter what was going on. They weren't looking at our faces. They knew how capable we were, and they pushed us to do more. And in their absence, I'm so glad you're doing so well, because I believe that if there is, I don't know what the theory of heaven is, and if people are in some waiting room somewhere and so they can look back on earth for now before Jesus comes. I really don't know. But if that's the case, I really hope she's clapping for you and proud of you, because we all are. And you're doing such an incredible job. Mr. Money, hopefully he's alive. We definitely want to hear exactly what Nana's told you that made you kind of change your perspective. Again, the power of a mother and the power of a woman. Indeed, I mean, the malt and the digestive, that was a power move right there. That woman knew exactly how to turn the table. She didn't have it, but she figured out a way to get him to be on the same level with her. I don't know if you have any triggers. I mean, if I started telling my story and my sisters were here, came up, you would be like, oh my God, did you guys grow up in the same home? So I'm not going to go into it. But Nuerki, how about you? Did you have any trigger stories?
Yeah, what the thing about African parents, mothers in particular, is it's as though they attend a conference and they are told, okay, when you have a child, do this, that, because they all say the same things. The other day, I was, you know how all parents, or rather, let me say from this angle, I sent my daughter to find something, and she came back and said she couldn't find it. And without processing all that happened, I immediately said, you've never been sent and you found anything before. And right then I heard my
Your mom's voice
in my head. And so I posted about it, and everybody could relate, because it's like all the mothers say the same thing. I was like, oh no, we've become our parents, we become our mothers. But that's the thing with African mothers. Some of them go really to the extreme, and
Yes.
I understand that their intention is
Yes.
to have their children be
Yes.
the best.
Yes.
It's just that there's that fine line that they cross between the love and what appears to be a kind of abusive
Yes.
relationship. Like there's that we struggle with that line. It's like it's blurred, and you can't, and you dare not speak up, or you dare not say what you really think about it. So it was quite triggering for me listening to Nana's
Yes.
story. And this morning I was thinking about it as I was preparing for the show. I was thinking about her story and thinking of my relationship with my mother, and thinking of all the experiences we've had,
Yeah.
and how I really felt about the times when I felt she was too extra, or
Yes.
she was overdoing
Yes.
something. And I was wondering, do I understand her now? Or do I feel she was justified? And I truly felt no. For some, it was just
It was just a
unnecessary.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
Yes,
was.
they laughed us. They laughed us. They laughed us hard, but it was just too much. And I remember, I think one time I was so upset, I just talked back, which was something I'd never
Yes.
done. And you could see like the shock.
Yes.
But we're having an argument. She was telling me not to do something. She said, and you, you don't like good things, and when good things come, you mess them up. Blah blah blah. You have to be patient. Rome was not built in a day, and I was so angry. I just responded and said, Rome was not built in a day. Where's your room? That's how angry I was.
Oh my God.
And it was as though I had slapped her. You could see, like, she just recoiled and looked at me for a long time. And then she went quiet. But from that point on, she changed
Her strategy.
her strategy. So now it was more like negotiating or trying. You could actually see the caution when she's talking to you that, hey, now this child is grown and she can talk back.
Yes.
And this thing I'm saying, I was about 38 then, and she still, for African mothers, you will always be their child.
No matter what, you can
No
be
matter what,
55
yes.
and they
Yeah,
would still be on you like,
So it
yes.
was, I could really relate with Nana's story on so many levels. For the teacher part, I could relate on behalf of some of my friends from primary school because some were really terrorized by some teachers.
By some teachers, yeah.
I could get it, and I could also understand her mother calling the teacher to discipline him. I'm sure she must have used some really strong language on him or told him, because I just can't imagine what it was she said. But the important thing is that it worked and she stood up.
Yes.
And I was so proud of it because there are some African parents again who would say it's part of growing up. So
just take it like that.
They wouldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really good of her mom to have stepped in.
Yeah.
And I also feel parents import what they went through or they bring their own experiences into raising us. So even though they knew this is probably what I went through, but it was not good and it was not healthy for me, they find themselves repeating the same
things. Yes.
And their mindset is they turned out all right, so you will also be fine. And it becomes a cycle. We need to get to
the words we speak, right?
The words we speak. It's just, I mean, you know what's going on Ghana social media between yesterday and today.
Oh God!
And the words that a mother spoke to her child, the words we speak,
the words a teacher spoke to a child that just triggered this whole journey of a young lady trying to find her father. I mean,
it's just we just have to be mindful of the things we say to children because it sticks, and as they grow, it makes a huge difference to how they turn out because there are certain words that never leave them, and they keep playing it. It defines the kind of adults they become. So we cannot take it for granted that we turned out okay.
So they will be okay. Actually, now that you talk about it, it feels to me as though sometimes our mothers did not even know that or even think that we were human enough to have feelings.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And I don't know if it was intentional or they just couldn't fathom that even at our young ages, we could have feelings. It just felt like you're just there. You're not supposed to feel anything or be anything. Just be a child and let me just
do as you're told.
Yes. And whether it is traumatic, toxic, it doesn't matter. Just take it.
And we didn't even know those words as
we
children.
didn't know those words. We didn't.
Trauma, toxicity. Well, what is that? We didn't know what they were.
Yeah. But now that you say it, and Nana, thank you so much. That was very brave. And what a coincidence that we're talking about these with what happened with Miss Yvonne Nelson yesterday and all the things that are coming out. I remember, for example, my mom used to just throw this particular phrase around. She just threw it. When we would do something, she would just say things like, useless children. She would just throw it out there. Useless children, useless children. And I remember one time when almost when the thing has just overed you.
Yeah.
It me. And I had just, been to scripture union in school and I was learning a few Bible verses. And I remember the power of life and death lies in the power of the tongue. And I remember exactly where I was sitting. And if Ralia is here, she would bear me out. I don't know if she was there for the event, but there was a banister, like a little veranda, and there was a banister that was towards the garage. Anyway, long story short, I was sitting there. I don't even know what I was doing. It was vacation time. It was afternoon. I was probably just minding my own business. The thing mothers hated to see was seeing a child just sitting around doing, in their minds, nothing. But I'm a dreamer. I'm a storyteller from the core. I was probably daydreaming about something. I was working, is what I'm saying. But just seeing that I was sitting there, she just burst out. You're just sitting there. You're doing nothing. Useless child. And let me tell you, I don't remember how old I was, but it was like something entered me. And I just burst out and I said, because of the way you're talking, your children will turn out to be useless. You forgot that the Bible says life and death lies in the power of the tongue. You're just killing us. I just said it. And just like your mom, she just had that reaction like, whoa, what did this child just tell me? Now, I don't remember if I got a beating or if she waited for my father to come home. I don't remember what happened, but I remember very clearly that after that phrase ended. She stopped saying useless children, but she had stopped talking to me for 2 weeks before that. After I spoke up. All I'm saying is that motherhood is difficult. We know that, but please, just kind of temper your words with more salve, maybe. Just don't throw words around. My sister just put on there. My mom used to say, "What's my warrior at our plate?" Meaning this is my house. You cannot just come and do anything, all kinds of things, Anyway, it's just,
Right. Motherhood is hard, but uh, motherhood is hard, but you can make it easier on your children. I find it interesting that in as much as motherhood is hard, I don't know if you had the same experience, but several other people I've spoken to have similar experiences. Have you observed the way grandmas treat the grandchildren? They are much kinder, more empathetic than they were towards their own children.
yes.
So sometimes I feel they know.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're
just
doing.
want to do it.
But they'll do it anyway. Because you dare not shout at any of my mother's grandchildren. Hey, why are you shouting at them? But she used to scream at us.
Yes.
She would scream. And the way she said, "No, you shouldn't talk to them like that. They are children." So they are children. But when we were children, you never remember.
Yes.
Even now that we are adults, sometimes you still yell at us. You don't remember.
And it leaves it's like that.
See, it says hypocrites as if they're not the ones.
Oh God.
It's true, as if they are not the ones who brought us up. That reminded me of something. So when my son was a baby, I had to be somewhere. So about 2 weeks at a time, I said to my mom, I needed to go somewhere. Would you watch the baby? So I go, and she said, yeah, sure, no problem. And he wasn't like a baby then. He was he was still a baby, but not fresh. Maybe like 10, 11 months old. And she said that was fine. The day comes and she says, I got to her house, going to drop off the baby. She says, so are you still going where you're going? I said,
I said I
we
was
had
going.
a conversation and you said it was fine. So I didn't even make any other arrangements. And you like nursing mother sort of, I think,
Right.
like a mother, you are abandoning your child to go do. She talked a whole lot, and I was upset because I just couldn't cancel. And I said, what are you saying? You also left us when we were children to travel. You left us and went to tour Europe. You left us with aunties. You left us for extended periods, and we never complained. We understood. So, what is that? What you are telling me? Like, she's being upset. Is that what you're telling me? And I was so angry. I said, "Look, I can't change it. I am going. I have to go. So, watch the baby."
And you said you would do it. So here's the
As
check.
agreed. So you have to watch the baby. You can't back out now. So you're going to leave the baby and go. You're going to leave. What if something happens? And I said, I've left him with my mother. I haven't left him with a stranger. I don't expect anything to happen. You won't kill him. He's your grandchild.
The
You won't
guilt.
harm him.
The
If there's
guilt.
anything really wrong, you will call me. I will not let you guilt trip me into not
Oh,
going. I am
wow.
going. And I left, and it was hard for me, but I felt like, no, I needed to stand up for myself.
Or else that would have been the beginning of
Yes.
something else.
So I just said, okay, I'm going. So see you. I left the baby and I went out. I was there for a while. Then she called a couple of hours later. How are you doing? So, what time will you be coming back? I was like, better. Because
Oh,
no,
but kind
I felt we remember all that we went through with you as our parents.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when we need help, we expect you to also understand because you have been there. You had all the support even for more relatives than we do now.
and
So
we
when we
do
come to
now.
you
Yeah,
for some assistance, say, but this you should be able to do it. No, life doesn't work like this. This
Yeah.
generation is very, very different from
Different.
our. And more children are learning to speak up.
yes,
And I know it is difficult for parents to handle when their children speak up, but you should listen because there's always value in what the child is saying.
Mm.
There's always some truth in what the child is. If you will really pay attention and be honest with yourself,
honest.
you will know you've overreacted or you are overdoing some things
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you are overbearing or there's somebody said the resilience you are building it's too much.
It's
You're just
too,
overdoing.
yeah.
And if you
I know, but to face, and Auntie Doris, you're right. They did build resilience in us, but sometimes it cripples us
yes.
even to adulthood.
Yep.
It,
And
it's
even with this resilience, it's not always the kind of it's not always a positive
yeah
resilience.
word.
It's more like
People
okay,
say it's a good word. It's not
yeah,
always a
it's
good
not
word.
always a good
Yeah,
word. It's
yeah.
not always. So
You
what we
know,
are saying as resilience, more timidity. We are afraid to even do anything about it. Let me
yes,
just be quiet and
yes,
go through
yeah.
it. And if you should take, and I'm sure if you take me and my siblings and you ask us about our experiences with our parents, we'll have
Yeah.
different stories because
Mhm.
we all coped differently and turned out different, even though we have
Yes.
we had the same experiences.
Yeah.
How we respond to issues now are very telling of what we went through when we were
Yeah.
children. And
Yeah. Man,
we need to do better.
we definitely need to
We know better, so we should do better.
do better. Exactly. And it's so interesting that this comment is up here because Nana said it too. She had a father that kind of balanced it out.
Yes.
And that's what happened in our home. I think maybe in most homes, if you took a poll, you would realize that if it was the father that was the way that, Nana's mother was, or some of our mothers were, then the mother would balance it out. So it was
Yes.
always a balancing
It's
act.
always a balance. That was a good
In
thing,
our case, it was our father who kind of was able to balance it out for us.
Well, as they kept alternating, it was my dad who
Yes.
used to be screaming all the time. My mother would come and balance it out. And my mom
No,
would
as for
come,
me,
and my dad comes. So it was
it
never
was
constant.
so maybe it
But
was
you
an
knew
act.
there was somebody to
Yeah, they
balance
were
it out
playing
at
an
some point.
orchestra of some sort. But so this parenting thing in Ghana and in Africa as a whole, it's a very tough thing, we understand. But I think times are changing and we have to change with the times. We really do. Sometimes the words we throw out are so, very quickly, do you know up until maybe 5 years ago, it broke out to me because I never really saw God as a person I could go to.
Yeah.
Just say, God, please forgive me, and He would forgive me right away. I
You
always
see,
thought,
that's a strict parents.
yes, I always thought I had to do penance. I had to beg Him plenty times and fast, even if it was just a lie. Like if I just told a lie, I would go through this deep thing. And sometimes I wouldn't pray for days because I was thinking in my head, God is still mad at me. He's not going to talk to me now. And one day, I don't know what it was, but it just dawned on me. You went through that with your mother. That's why. Because she was a kind of mother when it didn't matter what you did. The tiniest thing, if you're not on your knees holding her leg and begging her, you didn't get forgiveness.
Oh, wow.
And I did not realize how deeply seated that had even affected my relationship with God. It took a long time for me to realize, no, humans are humans and God is different. And I had totally forgotten that I had a father who was the easiest person to forgive. In fact, my dad, he will beat you today. Tomorrow, he's in your room saying, what's up?
Yes, forgotten that.
He's forgotten. Like, yeah, he gave you a beating, but Chale, Life goes on. Whereas my mom would beat you and not talk to you for 2 months.
Yeah,
So,
she's still angry.
yes, very, very angry. Like when you say good morning, it was like, and you had to call uncles and have a meeting. It was a whole affair to just get forgiveness for the thing you did just because you were a child, so it Nana, thank you. See how important your stories are. It's just triggered so much conversation, and I know these conversations would go on. And to my younger self right now is not me. It's actually a family member of mine. So she says, for my father, I don't think it was an act. I could just call him as early as 5 a.m. to tell him I am dropping off the kids to go to do something. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
No questions asked. If my mother were here, I would have had to fill out a questionnaire.
Yes.
And it's true.
Yes.
It's very, very true. So it's just one of those things. Again, Nana, thank you. The other thing I wanted us to talk about real quick was when she was playing the violin. And I saw these cute little flowers and a tree that seemed to open. And what is all that about? Was that like shot on location? I was so taken by that and the violin that was in the background. I said, "Oh my God, what?"
That tree, what you saw, so it was from the bottom and then it went up.
Right.
So you're seeing inside the tree.
That was inside the tree.
Yeah, it was inside a tree.
Oh my God.
So the story is 116 years ago. There was an African mahogany tree in that spot.
116 years ago.
Yeah.
None of us were
That's
alive.
What was it? 1906.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1906. There was an African mahogany tree there.
Yeah.
And then the seed, there's so many birds in Eiiiiiii Gardens. So there's a lot of what they call cross-pollination.
Yes.
Yeah. So a bird dropped, it's assumed that's how it happened, but the seed of a rubber plant attached itself to the mahogany.
Oh my God.
That particular rubber plant is called a strangler ficus. Imagine the name of strangler.
It's a strangler ficus.
Yeah. So as it attached itself to the mahogany, it grew roots. So it was more like a parasite, and it was tapping then it grew its own roots straight into the ground and around the tree. In Ghana, quite a number of people have ficus as hedges. It grows very fast. Yes, so that's something like that. But it's like it's a more dangerous version. So it just wrapped its new roots, very long roots, around the mahogany tree.
Wow.
Within 30 years, it had strangled the mahogany tree.
Oh my God.
So the mahogany tree was in the middle and had like the ficus wrapped all around it. And so in strangling it, the mahogany tree died and rotted away. And so that's why the inside of the trunk is hollow. So the tree that used to be on the inside
was a
died.
mahogany tree.
So what is standing now is a strangler ficus, which has grown. It's over 100 years old now. It just like I was hosting you small, you've moved me out of my house. That is what it did pretty much.
Do you know my mind just did like 1,000 meters per nanosecond?
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is a spiritual story. This is a scientific story.
There's so many lessons.
God.
So many, yeah. So the trunk is big enough for 2 people or maybe 3 people to fit into. You just
anybody going under that.
Yeah.
I'm not going
It's so good to see, and it's amazing. Like,
wow,
it's amazing and sad at the same time. Very
scary.
That from a seed, it just strangled.
You know how
it was not like it was a seedling that at the time that it was not as though the mahogany was a seedling. It was a tree, and this one took over completely. In just 30 years, it took over and killed it all.
There's 2 lessons I'm drawing here. One, a determined mind. You know, they're always saying that consistency and hard work would always beat talent. If you have talent and you're not honing it and you're not working on it, it would fizzle out. So
Yep.
this mahogany tree had potential. It was strong. It
Yes.
was,
Mahogany
I mean,
has
mahogany trees are
yeah.
strong, and it's probably just did nothing, for lack of a better phrase. And so talent, but and this robber, strangler, whatever, just kind of came. Consistency, hard work, boom. Now it's there, and that mahogany tree is not there. But the other flip side of this is, no matter how strong you are, we have to be careful the words we hear and the seeds people drop in us.
Yep. And
Because
the
the
bonds we form.
yes, and the bonds we form, the tiniest little thing would just
Over
fizzles
time,
out.
they just
Yes.
like
So
the Bible says, bad company corrupts.
company, yes.
It's subtle, but over
Yes.
time you realize that.
Yes, because in 30 short years, the mahogany was just gone.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Again, the person you attach yourself with, even as a marriage partner, it's very important. You see some people get married and suddenly whatever it is they had, the charisma, the whatever, it suddenly
all gone.
fizzles out because the other person has overshadowed them and they become a hollow version of themselves. I dare say this strangler ficus is not its strongest even.
No,
Because,
it isn't.
yeah.
But it has had enough time to assert its position. So it's very imposing now when you see it.
Wow.
But
Wow.
it's still got like a lot of holes in it, which is not what a regular tree should have. So it's not like a solid trunk.
Because it's taken literally
Yes.
from another person
Yeah.
or another tree. It's not its own roots. So of course, that is yes. And she says, be careful how you accommodate people. They might strangle you.
We should frame this quote.
I think it's a frameable one. We must frame this, but this is
it's ready.
that was wow. But see how a tree can just give us story. We've been talking about this tree for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
I want
So
to
it's one of the trees that you must see when you go to the Eiiiiiii Gardens.
wow, what a powerful life lesson. And you guys just being in the roving car. Did you guys notice the bumps and everything? Jared, I have to say thank you to you. I know you're probably watching. He is a roving, to my younger self, roving photographer and videographer and everything. And he's doing such an amazing job. I felt the bumps. At some point, I saw Nuerki's face go, like, what's that?
Like, you need to slow down a bit.
I know, but I was having such a great time with it. I said, oh my God, look at the bumps. You can feel it in the car. It's so incredible. Wow. You guys did such a great job this time. I'm just so, every single time you do a great job, but I see the progression. The first one, we were kind of all seated, and then it was outside, and then it was in a car that was static. And now the car is moving. Very
soon.
Telling the stories, roving.
Very soon we'll be in a train.
We don't mind at all. We'll be in a train. Speaking of trains, let me just plug this in here. I hear today is Ibrahim Mahama's birthday.
Yes. It is.
And when you said trains, it just came up to me because when I think about Ghanaian trains, I think about Ibrahim Mahama. Boss, we want to say happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Eiiiiii.
Yes. We don't know where you are right now, but we know you're somewhere in the world. And we want to say happy birthday to you. God bless you. You are such an inspiration to a lot of young adults out in Ghana right now. We know what the political scene looks like. You're one of those that has decided politics is not your cup of tea. You will just do the work. And in doing the work, you have given so many people inspiration and hope. And it's not just, like in theory, you're giving it to them in tangible forms. And most of your stories and how you help people may never come out. But I know you're sowing seeds in generations and generations and generations. And I just wanted to say, God bless you. We are to my younger self. Definitely, certainly appreciate you. And like Nuerki said, hey, who knows, right? So we're not going to just say it out here, but might be telling stories on trains and planes and who knows what else very, very soon. And anyway, I just wanted to plug that in there. Do you have something to say to Mr. Mahama?
You already said it.
All right, let's try to wrap up. Nana, thank you. I want to say thank you. Oh my God. You know, Ghana has so much talent. We don't even know what to do with it. That this young lady will self-teach. That was a tautology just about to happen. I caught myself. Self-teach herself. She self-taught. Like learned how to play the violin. How do we help her become even more? I don't know. These are questions we must pose. Nana, how can we help you? Aside from like saying, hey, if you have an event, call her. But how can we put her on the map?
Yep.
You know, we hear people playing the violin and they travel all around the world and they're in orchestras and things like that. She is good enough.
What's her name? Is it Yo-Yo Ma?
Yes, Yo-Yo Ma is one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
How do we do that? And Yo-Yo Ma had a backing of the country. That's what happened for Yo-Yo Ma. So how can we help Nana? Not only that, we just saw Six Strings come up the other day, and he himself has also been like that. He had a few teachers, but there's so many self-taught talent inside of Ghana and in Africa. And I don't know. Sometimes I just wish God would give me 1 billion, thousand, I don't know, Swiss francs or dollars, so we can it's support and also learning how to literally write checks.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox because I don't know. Anyway, guys, in that vein, if you have an event that you want to add class and panache and style to, reach out to Nana. Nana, if you're watching us, plug in your details in the comment section.
She's Naana The Violinist on Instagram, on Facebook. It's the same.
Yes.
Across platforms.
Yeah, and if you have an orchestra, you have a plug-in to an international orchestra or a scholarship where she can be a resident in an orchestra somewhere for a year or two, so she can better hone her skills.
Yeah, some kind of residency.
Plug in. Call to my younger self. Reach out to us via email. We'll put it here. Anything at all. If you just know of a grant, anything that can help Nana, please reach out so that we can be of help to her. Okay, we really, really want that to happen. So thank you very much for doing that. We always tell you, please patronize these platforms. Definitely, Nuerki, the stylish thing you do, please tell me the name again, because my cue card. The flying, you know, I'm doing Fly Ghana. Yes. Yeah. If you want to look glamorous, I'm already trying to book my appointment sometime soon. If you want to look fly and cute and all that for a birthday, an anniversary, anything at all, Fly Ghana, definitely you want to reach out to Nuerki. Wear Ghana, Humanity Chats by Margie March. Core Designs is also doing incredible in Ghana. Music for Your Quality Feet just wrapped up their grand ball inside of London in support of Nyamidia Orphanage. They're doing incredible things. Collateral, M. Sims by Mabel Simpson, our dear friend. Ryle by Design out of New York. Avonzige Bridal, Keys and Credo by Nana Sapon. Horseman Shoes, Caveman Watches. There's just so many African designers and especially Ghanaian designers out there that you would do well to patronize. Listen, another thing that's very close to my heart today is I hear Yuva Nelson's book is out, and I checked it out on Amazon, and it's $31.50. There's also, I hear people are sharing PDFs of it. Please, if somebody shares a PDF version of this to you, do not read it. This woman poured sweat and blood and tears into her work. And you guys just want to grab the work and just, unfortunately, I have to use the word, rubbish it. Buy the book. Buy the book. If you're that interested, buy the book. Yvonne Nelson has done incredible things as an actress and also in her own charity. If you don't like the way she told the story, then go sit in your corner somewhere. Don't do it because you're curious and so please give me a PDF. Please give. This is how we take money literally out of Africa. So buy the book. And I don't know if Big Brother Nana
Nana has not got it yet. I checked yesterday. He's still working on it. So for those who are in a hurry, it's at the Legon Bookshop. It's 200 CDs at the
Buy
Legon
the book at the Legon Bookshop. Buy the book. Please buy the book. Do not just say, give me a PDF, give me a PDF. Whoever leaked that PDF, shame on you. You literally just, no, really, shame on you. You just rubbished all her hard work and people are sharing it and they think it's something. You're not even shy to put it on social media to say, I have the PDF. Shame on you. Let's try to do better for ourselves, for Africans, and for women. And these are women doing it to her, saying, I have the PDF. And they're not even reading deeper into what the woman is writing.
They're reading selected.
They're reading selectively and they're reading so they can do what we call gossip or concern and say, oh, she said this and that. You don't even know the deeper side of her story. Please, 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 we must, as African people, do better. Okay, we must do better. And with that, I'm gonna. It's not a soapbox this time. This is actually, yes, they are being plagiarists and they're being greedy and they're being gossipy and they're rubbishing her work. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. There's so many things we can talk about in. I'll just move on and I'll say thank you to our donors, those who have donated to us. You know yourselves, we're not going to mention names this time around. We just want to say thank you for donating. I'm getting very emotional.
These African crabs.
Yeah, it's really, I'm getting very emotional about it because I know what it is to go through the writing process and how painstaking it is and the many drafts and
to be telling something like a memoir, which is a lot.
Deep.
I mean, it's a very emotional process.
Yes,
and you're sharing yourself, and
for them, for you, please. Yes, Auntie Doris, African crabs, we're just pulling her down as though she didn't. Everyone needs money, obviously, but if you look at someone like Yvonne Nelson, she can survive with however much or however little she has now. She's an average Ghanaian, is what I'm saying. So not necessarily that she wrote the book so she can make more money. She wrote the book for a reason. Get the book or don't. Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. I draw a hard line on free PDFs. Exactly. Donors, thank you.
We need to get Yvonne on this show.
We should. And I actually just put in my order. It takes about 5 days, especially if you get it on Amazon. I was waiting for it to get on Book Nook, but I tried, I got it on Amazon, and when I get it, I'll read it and we'll reach out to her publicist or whoever. And if you have a plug-in, Nuerki, definitely see if you can do an intro, because you know everyone in Ghana for sure. So you know how to get to her, however, but there's some things in the book that I just went, oh my God. Just from the little that I got, because people bought the book and so they screenshot some of the things. But the screenshots were basically just to do kokonsan, not necessarily the thing she was saying. Do you know what it means to go to a doctor's office and they ask you, have you had an abortion before? And you have to tick yes. Do you understand?
You can't tick no if it's yes, because it has so many implications.
It's deeper.
You have to be truthful.
And she writes that, and people are just so.
And in Ghana, no doubt, everybody's like,
right. And then they
went Nelson because she's popular.
Yes, it is so much deeper. But people are more concerned about the person's names she mentioned, and I wouldn't even dignify by mentioning the names here, because that's not the story. Is not about those people. It's about the woman and the things she went through. How do you not even get that? Yes, big sister.
Thank you, producer.
Exactly. So please, once we read the book onto my younger self, we'll reach out and get Yvonne Nelson on the show as one of our on one of our author corners. Speaking of that, we're going to be having last year we had the honor of launching the first book onto my younger self by Adeline Araba Einimson, and it was called Thank You, Lord, You. He inhabits our praise. I'm sorry. I had the book and then it went back to the bedroom because I was reading it and I didn't bring it out. So that's why I'm struggling. But she will be here. It will be an anniversary that we're marking. It's actually, this particular one is a birthday gift for me. I did it intentionally for me. So Auntie Adeline will be here and we'll be discussing the book because 2 days after that would be my birthday.
Yay.
So it will be celebration time the whole time. And so we'll be discussing the book. So if you haven't gotten it yet, please get the book. Let's read it together. And we'll just come and have a good conversation about her process, what the book meant to her. She's healed, whole, and sanctified now. She's doing incredible things. We'll be talking about the aftermath of the book and, you know, all the things that God has been doing through the book, the impact the book has had on people, some of the stories she's heard. Like, we'll just be talking. We'll just be talking. Auntie Adeline has also been one of our biggest supporters and one of our biggest backbones. I can never say thank you enough to her. She's always doing something incredibly amazing for To My Younger Self, just plugging us in. She's mentioning our names in rooms that will blow your mind. Like, your mind will literally be blown. And so I'm just so excited to have her on the show next week. So yes. Thank you for bringing us such riveting guests. You rock. Doesn't she though? She does. Nuerki, we love you. We appreciate you. Again, if you're planning to visit Ghana, please explore Ghana with Nuerki, the girl with the red hair. We have her number right there, and also find her on all of her social media platforms. I miss your red hair, Nuerki. Where is it?
Yeah, I needed a disguise for a few days. So
she's like, you know, she's underground right now.
Yeah.
For those of you who donated to Ma Mary last week, we want to say thank you. Oh my God, what overwhelming donations. Some of you didn't want your names to be mentioned, but one particular lady, I don't know her, but your name is Linda. You sent us something. If you happen to be watching, we want to say thank you for that. And the others, you just don't want to be mentioned. Some sent the monies directly to her. And some of you were in Ghana and you sent your monies directly to her. So we just want to say thank you. Thank you for helping a cause. Nuerki, we're just signing off. You know, if you leave me, we'll go for another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Please,
So
just sign us off before I...
No, you... No.
With that being said, my name is Zoe Baraka. I've been in the studio with Nuerki, the girl with the red hair. And also today we heard stories by Naana the Violinist, who has just been an incredible storyteller. We look forward to the next segment in July. July. Guys, July, hold on to the pants, like the edge of your seat. It's like we're shaking tables in July, I promise you. Not only on Roving storytelling, but the whole month is just power-packed, mind-blowing. Just hang on. You'll be like, what's going on? I promise. All right, guys. My name is Zoe Baraka. Enjoy the rest of your day. And Nuerki.
Thank you. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye guys. Alrighty.
Kaja Israel, Kabarijit, Kaja Ethiopia, Kaja Sudan, Waja Shong. Kaja Igushima, you know, Wanime Kona, me Waja Shong. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali. Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. What where you what you're shown. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know what you're shown. Manchester, you know Sumanguru, you know what where you what you're shown.